Hey guys, your casual gamer here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up RetroArch. This is a front end for emulators and game engines that allow you to bring all of your retro favorite consoles into one interface. So let's head on over to RetroArch.com. The link to this page is in the description below. Once you are here, go ahead and click on download. The latest version as the recording of this video is 1.16.0 and we're going to download the stable version. So I have that RetroArch setup file here on my desktop. Let's go ahead and open it. Now you can't see my screen right now because my user account control came up. Go ahead and click yes to allow this app to make changes to your device. Welcome to RetroArch Setup Wizard. Next, go ahead and agree to the license agreement. Choose wherever you would like to have RetroArch installed. You can click browse and select on your computer, SSD, external hard drive, wherever you want to install RetroArch. I'm fine with it being on my C drive. Next. If you don't have DirectX already installed on your PC, go ahead and click this box here. If you're not sure if you have DirectX installed, go ahead and click this. It won't hurt anything. I already have it, so I'm just gonna hit next. Would you like to create any program shortcuts? I am not, so I'm going to click do not create shortcuts and install. Now we can go ahead and delete our setup file. To find RetroArch on your PC, come down to the search bar and just type in RetroArch. Here it is right here. Now we can go ahead and click on this and RetroArch will open, or you can right click on it, go to open file location. And here is RetroArch on my C drive. Now from here, you can drag it to your desktop and create a shortcut. You can right click on it and you can pin it to your start bar. It's totally up to you. For this video, I'll just work with the shortcut on my desktop. Let's go ahead and open RetroArch. Now when you first open RetroArch, you're going to be greeted with this gray interface that I am not a fan of. So the first thing we're going to do is change the interface to something that looks a lot better and easier to work in. So let's go to settings, then go down to drivers, and then menu. And right now the interface we are using is Ozone. We're going to change this to XMB. Now let's exit out of RetroArch. Now let's reopen RetroArch. And as you see, we have this blue interface that's clean and a lot easier to navigate as well. And also at this point, if you have an Xbox One or Xbox Series controller connected to your PC, you can now use that controller to navigate RetroArch. And if you want to go full screen, then just hit the F key on your keyboard. Okay, now let's go to load core. And then download a core. And you're gonna see a lot of cores in here. And basically guys, what cores are emulators built within RetroArch. And you're gonna notice that they have multiple cores for whatever emulator you wanna set up. So right now, I wanna set up a Super Nintendo emulator. So I can choose the Beetle emulator. They have multiple BSNES. They have SNES9S. And the one I prefer to use will be this one here, the BSNES. I'm just gonna click it and it's gonna start downloading. And I am also gonna download a Sega Genesis core, which I am gonna use Genesis Plus GX. Click on it and it will download. Now I'm gonna load my ROMs into RetroArch. So let's go over to the plus icon and then click on Scan Directory. Locate wherever you have your ROMs. In my case, I have them on an external hard drive, which is my F drive. Locate the folder they're in. I called it ROMs, and in here I have my Genesis and Super Nintendo ROMs. Scan this directory. Directory finished. Now if we go back and we scroll over to the right, you'll see my Super Nintendo games. And you'll see my Sega Genesis games. So now I'm going to show you how to add box art to your games. From here, scroll down to Online Updater. Then scroll down to Playlist Thumbnails Updater. And we're going to do both of these, Super Nintendo and Genesis. Let's start with Super Nintendo. And now let's scroll down to Genesis. Now let's go back and let's scroll all the way back over to the right. And if we look at our Super Nintendo games now, you will see that those games have cover art. Same thing for our Genesis games. We have cover art. Now let's load up a game. We can do Streets of Rage 2. Select the game, and then you want to hit run. Now, if you have multiple cores downloaded for a particular console, this is where you will select which core you want to use to run this game. In this case, I only have Genesis Plus GX, so that's the only one I can use. And then it's going to core set, and then just hit run again. And the game will load up. And like I said, I am using an Xbox Series controller, and there is no setup required for an Xbox controller. Now I'm going to pause this and show you guys how to get to the in-game menu. You want to hit the F1 key. Now here you have a lot of options. You can restart your game, close your game, you can access your save options, you have core options. Now honestly, I don't really mess with the core options in RetroArch unless I'm playing PS2, GameCube, or Dreamcast games, and then really the only thing I would change is the resolution. But other than that, RetroArch is optimized to run your games at the best possible settings. You can also change your controls if you're not happy with it, but believe me, you will be happy with your control layout if you're using an Xbox controller. You have some random stuff like take screenshots, you can start recording, start streaming. You have rewind. A lot of guys probably like to use rewind when you mess up in game. You can access cheats, and you have shaders. Now I'm going to show you something that you may want to do, and that's on-screen overlay. So what this is going to do is going to add some cover art to those black borders on the left and the right side of your screen. So let's go ahead and turn on display overlay, and then let's go down to overlay preset and go down to borders. And they have some preset ones in here. Go ahead and find the system you're playing. In my case, we're just going to deal with this Mega Drive one right here, Mega Drive animated border, and I'm going to select this one. Now if we go back into the game, as you see, now we have some borders, and I find this to look a lot better than just having the plain old black borders. But once again, it's totally up to you. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe if you haven't already. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace.